is Senodhi Fernando and I school at Licensed International School in Nugegura, and I'm currently pursuing my international business degree at Universal College Lanka, also known as UCL. So in terms of sports, I would say that my starter was definitely table tennis, because that was the first sport I ever played and that was the sport I started off with. And I would say I was influenced to start that sport by my parents, because they were such inspirations to me, because they were racket sports players themselves, because they did the sports of badminton and tennis. So I didn't actually want to do the same sport as them. I wanted to do something different, which is why I started off with table tennis. So when speaking about table tennis more, I actually played table tennis for a period of 7 years, which is basically my school life. And in terms of my proudest achievement, I would say that I was indeed fortunate enough to become the table tennis captain of my school, as well as achieve sports colors at the end of my school life in table tennis. And I would say that with that, I was able to compete in Western Province tournaments, national tournaments, international tournaments, and inter-school tournaments, as well as inter-house tournaments, which thus led me to be able to achieve the skills of teamwork and leadership as well, which I think is very important, because those are qualities you can't learn in a typical class environment. Those are qualities you build up over time by playing a certain sport. And also, I would say that my proudest achievement wouldn't just be a trophy or a medal or some title. It would actually be the fact that I was able to be part of a team, to lead a team, because the team is practically family. Like, it becomes family over time. It would be the people you hang with, it would be the people you associate with during a sport, and they would be the people that would practically make the sport interesting and fun for you. Because I think that sports are very important in life, because you need to have something that takes away all the stress from homework and assignments and everything, and that's what sports do. So my current status in terms of sports right now is that I go to university at UCL, and at UCL I pursue 3 sports, which are football, badminton and basketball. I was incredibly fortunate enough to be given the opportunity of games captain this year at UCL, along with football captain and badminton captain. And more than anything, I would say the best part of it all was the feeling of belonging to a team, because at the end of the day, after lectures, after assignments, we would all come to that field, to that court, and we would play that sport with no kind of stress in the world. We would just join together, we would play that sport, and honestly, that was the best feeling of it all. Of course, with this opportunity, I was able to develop my leadership skills, my teamwork skills, my ability to take responsibilities, and my multi-talent skills, because I believe that studies and sports go hand in hand. I believe that you have to have a good work-life balance in life, and that both of them are equally important, because I want to excel in both of them equally. So I would definitely say that sports has actually impacted my life a lot, and is a major part of my life, because if anyone, like literally anyone who knows me, my friends, my family, everyone knows how much I love sports, how much I have a passion for sports, because it basically comes up in every conversation. Like, believe me, every conversation it comes up with anyone. And it's such a subject of conversation to me, because it's personally something that I really love, that I have a passion for, so I would like to talk about it a lot. I would also say that through sports, I was actually able to learn a lot of things as well, because like I said before, that my leadership skills, my teamwork skills, the fact that I'm very open and social and just very welcoming and friendly, those things that I learned by being in a team, by being in a sport. So I think that it was definitely a very important part, and it's still a very important part in my life. Not only that, but I actually came to a lot of self-realization through sports and by doing sports, because I actually realized the type of person, the type of leader, the type of captain, and the type of team player that I wanted to be. That I didn't want to be someone that just ruled out of fear. I wanted to show people my passion, my drive, and my motivation towards that sport, that makes them want to be motivated, that makes them want to do that sport as well, because they see another person being so interested, being so enthusiastic and engaged in that sport, that makes them feel confident enough to do that sport. Like recently, a girl actually told me that she wasn't the best at that sport, like a sport like football, that she didn't want to do it, But you don't have to be the best at the sport. There are so many people that will teach you when you come towards the sport, because everyone is so welcoming. Everyone's a team, and you coming to the sport means you're part of the team. Whether you're good or bad, it doesn't matter, because none of us were great at the sport at the beginning as well. We learned over time, because there are mentors, there are people who are older than us that taught us how to be good, how to actually perform in that sport. So I would say you don't have to be the best. If you love a sport, do the sport. Like, otherwise you're going to regret it later. Like, believe me, you are going to regret doing that sport later when you see everyone else doing it. Like, just do that sport. If you love it, do it for yourself, not for anyone else, not for the competition, not for work experience or anything like that. Nothing. Just do it because you love that sport, because that's what's going to get you places at the end of the day. So in terms of the current standing of sports in the society today, I would definitely say that sports are definitely a huge part of the world today. And a lot of people are actually very enthusiastic about a certain sport or sports in general. There are a lot of people who are really passionate and have the drive to doing sports nowadays. But something I've actually really realized is that before someone starts sport, they actually ask themselves, what would people think if I'm not the best at the sport? There's a lot of thinking, like a mindset of that a lot of people have, that if they come to the sport and they perform badly, or if they don't know about the sport, and they just think that people are going to laugh at them, that their reputation is going to go down and things like that. And that's why they don't join a sport, even though they love it or they have the capability for the sport. And I think that this mentality that people just judge, people just label you as a bad player just based on your first performance or your first practice, is actually something that should be changed, because society should actually be welcoming new players into the sport, because you can actually train them. Like, if they aren't the best, if they don't know about sport, you can train them, because that's how all the best athletes start. They start from being a beginner at sport, and then they work their way up. So I think that if you're really valuing other people's opinions, you really shouldn't. Like, let them say whatever, let them have their own opinions. Judging and labeling has nothing to do with your interest in the sport. If you like it, go for it. So when actually speaking about the current pandemic situation in the country, I would say that a lot of sports clubs and higher educational institutions had to stop sports for a time being, because of the fact that it is actually proven that an athlete playing a sport or practicing with their mask is actually very unhealthy, because it can cause breathing problems. So I would say that this decision was definitely the best decision to make for a time being till things get better in the country. But I would say that a lot of us were definitely bummed out and very, very upset about the fact that we wouldn't be able to practice as a team for a while, that we won't be able to go for practices for a while as well, because even our lectures are online right now in university, because we can't take the risk or the chance to have on-campus lectures. So even with sports, we can't take the risk there. So everyone was definitely bummed out about that fact. But I would definitely encourage practicing at home during this time, because you can actually practice alone, you can practice with your siblings. And practicing alone a sport, like with a sport, it isn't a bad thing. You can actually enhance your abilities further by practicing with yourself, because you can motivate yourself to further pursue the things that you think you're bad at. And I would encourage doing that, because otherwise you're going to be definitely out of touch with your sport. And when you resume sports, it's actually going to be really hard on you, because you're going to get a lot of muscle pains, you're going to get a lot of problems when you start that sport. So I would encourage working out at home and also pursuing that sport at home. I think that this is definitely getting a little political, because when we talk about sports in our country and on a national and international level, whether we're actually adequately supported, I would say that a lot of people don't actually know that there are sports teams, that there are people who play on a national and international level when it comes to other sports like football and all. Because I didn't actually know that there was like a adequate girls team for football, and I think that it should be advertised or promoted more and enhanced more, and it should be motivated that players could have this dream of performing in their national team. I think that's a very good dream to have, because at the end of the day, that would be a high dream that any athlete would have, to perform for their national team and to be a part of it and represent their country one day. So I would think that that athletes should be more motivated on this level to perform to their best, and that they can one day become like a representative in their sport for their team. And I think that a lot of people should be given the opportunity to at least be part of a trial team or something, that is some kind of opportunity where more people who are good at it or who have the passion to be in it are actually given maybe like a training period or something to be part of a representative team in their sport for their country. So I think it's a suggestion definitely that could impact a lot in the future. So in terms of the future that I see with myself and with the sports I play, throughout school, throughout high school, and even during university right now, the reason why I do the sports I do is because of my love towards those sports, because I love trying out new sports. And I think that sports actually helps me balance out everything in life. It teaches me a lot of things that I wouldn't have learned elsewhere. And I think that my dream is definitely it would be a great honor to represent my country in my particular sport, and that would be my biggest dream that I hope to achieve one day. But till then, since I'm still in university, since I have to juggle assignments and everything, I would definitely work my way towards that by maybe joining a club in the future. And yeah, that's definitely my dream for the future. So in terms of the last words that I would like to share about this topic, this would be towards the audience and the viewers. This would be that if you love a sport, just go and do it. Like, it doesn't matter what other people think. It's your passion, it's your dreams. And in order to achieve that, you have to keep yourself motivated. You can't depend on anyone else to motivate yourself for you. You need to keep yourself motivated. I'm not going to butter you up and tell you that it's not going to be hard, because there are days that you have to get up at like 5 a.m. for practices. You have to continue having that consistency for practices for a sport, because otherwise you're not going to have that proper commitment, that proper dedication towards the sport. So if you have dreams to be part of the national team, to represent your school or anything like your university, you need to work hard towards it. And I would just say, if you have that drive, you have that passion, that's going to take you places.